Hello everyone, welcome to this session. We still discussing about the central nervous system. In our previous video, discussed the concept of this, the concept of nervous system. We saw the components of the nervous system. We then discussed the central nervous system and its components. So today, let's further briefly discuss about the components of the central nervous system and their functions. So we'll be discussing them within the table. Now, the table below, it just summarizes the structure and the functions of the major components of the brain. So here is our table, the component you have here with the functions, then the structure of the given uh, component of the brain. So the first one is the cerebellum. The functions of this are long-term memory, coordination, example, balance, muscle tone, movement, and posture. Also, so these are just the main functions of the cerebellum. Also, maintenance of the muscle tone, balance, and the synchronization of activity in the groups of the muscles, and voluntary control. Also, they're converting the muscle contraction into muscle coordinated movements. However, it does not initiate the movement and plays no part in the perception of conscious sensations or in intelligence. So here are the main functions of the cerebellum. I think we saw them in our previous video. So here I just see summarized within the table the functions of the cerebellum. While the structure of the cerebellum is the largest part of the hindbrain. Like the cerebellum, it has, uh, like the cerebrum, this cerebellum, it has an outer gray cortex and the core of the white matter. The cerebellum has three broad bands of the nerve fibers, the inferior, the middle, and the superior cerebral uh, penicles, which they connect it to the medulla, the pons, also the varori, and the midbrain respectively. So this is just the simple structure of the cerebellum. We saw it in our previous video. The second component of the brain is the cerebrospinal fluid, CSF. The functions of this, the cerebrospinal fluid, they include as follows. Bathes the brain and the spinal cord, so it covers the brain and the spinal cord. Also, it allows the nutrients and the waste products to diffuse between the blood and the brain slash the spinal cord. So the cerebrospinal fluid, it allows the nutrients to diffuse uh, between the blood and the brain and the spinal cord. Also, it helps to remove the waste products from the blood in the brain, such as the spinal cord. The other function is that protects the nerves against the mechanical damage. So you might have any uh, work or any some kind of pressure that can lead to some kind of tension to the brain. So this cerebrospinal fluid is there just to protect the nerves against the various mechanical damage that may occur during any tension or any physical tension. In terms of structure of this cerebrospinal fluid, uh, the structure of this is that a clear watery fluid whose normal contents include the following. The first one is glucose, also salts, enzymes, and some white blood cells, but no red blood cells. So this is just the simple structure of this, the cerebrospinal fluid, abbreviated as the CSF. Moving on, the third component is the cerebrum. The cerebrum has the following functions. The cerebrum is also known as the cortex. So the cortex is just equal to the cerebrum, and it is the largest and the most highly developed part of the brain. This is the learning part of the brain, and the cerebral intelligent behavior. It is the one that is responsible for initiation and coordination of all voluntary activity in the body. So all voluntary activities such as moving, walking, are associated or are controlled and managed by the cerebrum. So those are the function of the cerebrum. Also in the body, and for the governing the functioning of the lower parts of the nervous system. So it also help to function other parts or other lower parts of the nervous system. So this is the function of the cerebrum. In terms of the structure of the cerebrum is mainly composed of two hemispheres separated from each other by the longitudinal fissure in the midline. Now, each hemisphere has an outer layer of the gray matter, the cerebral cortex, below which lies the white matter containing the basal ganglia. Nerves of the cortex are the ones that are arranged on the outer side surface of the gray matter. So that's simply how this cerebrum is structured. Moving on, uh, the other function of this is that the structure of the cerebrum. Also the second part we said it has these parts. The second part that is the corpus callosum is the massive band of the nerve fibers that help to connect the two hemispheres at the bottom of the longitudinal figure. So the corpus callosum is just a massive band of these kind of nerves fibers that are there just to connect the two hemispheres. It's not the other part of the hemisphere, but it's there just to connect the two hemispheres. Moving on, the other component of the brain is the hypothalamus. We saw this in our previous video. Here is summarized in the table. The hypothalamus is the receptor center and the control set of the body. It contains the several important centrals controlling the body temperatures and eating and the water balance. Examples including the osmoreceptors that balance water/salt levels and they also control the water content of the blood. It is also the statutory center that is concerned with the satisfaction for things like hunger, thirst, and sex. So hypothalamus is there to control such things. It is also very closely connected with the emotional activity and sleep, and it is functions at the center for the integration of the hormonal and the autonomic nervous activity through its control of the pituitary secretions. Also, the posterior lobe of the pituitary secretions, uh, it secretes the two hormones. The first one is ADH, that is antidiuretic hormone, also known as the vasopressin. This works on the kidney tubules. Secretion of the ADH tells the kidneys to reabsorb more water, resulting in more concentration in urine. So non-secretion of ADH results in more urination, uh, and leads also to the weaker urine. So there you have it. That's the function of the ADH, that is antidiuretic hormone. Speaking of the structure of the hypothalamus, the region of the forebrain in the floor of the third ventricle, so linked with the thalamus above and the pituitary gland below. So this is how it's structured and where it's located. This is hypothalamus within the brain. Also, in terms of the we are talking about the functions. Also, we have the other hormone that is the oxytocin. In here, the hypothalamus. We saw the first one is ADH, that antidiuretic hormone, and the second one that is oxytocin. Talking of the other component, medulla oblongata. Medulla oblongata has the following functions. The function of the medulla oblongata concern the body's involuntary processes such as breathing, heart rate, swallowing, salivation, vomiting, and blinking. So these are the functions of the medulla oblongata, simply involved in the involuntary processes. Involuntary processes are the processes that a person cannot do with his or her own wanting. So they are just done without person's conscious. Uh, in terms of the structure, the medulla oblongata is the extension within the skull of the upper end of the spinal cord, forming the lowest part of the brain stem. So there you have it. That's the structure or location and how it looks like within the brain. So that's all I have for this video. I hope it's clear. I've seen all the various components of the brain, their functions, and how they are structured within the brain, briefly within and summarized within a given table. I hope it's clear, and thank you.